Hello, dear aspirants. Welcome to Clarity for Show. Today is 12th of Feb, and we will try to see the important articles. Based upon those news articles, we will try to cover some important MCQs as well as probable descriptive questions. All right. So be with me for the next 30 minutes. I will show you that what type of MCQs can be framed from the newspaper articles and which is relevant for various regulatory examination including RBI. All right. So you can find the news articles, the PDF of the news article in this Telegram group. The link of the Telegram group will also be provided in the descriptive section. So let's see the first article that had appeared, the important article in the news today with respect to banking and finance is like this. Like RBI looks to ban sale incentive to bank staffers for from third party. What actually RBI is likely to do, that RBI is banning the incentive associated with the products that a bank staff is selling, okay, from third party, like from for a insurance company. Means if you are opening an account in our bank, then and uh, opening an account in our bank, and if you are buying this particular product of insurance, then you will get certain amount of discount or like that, certain amount of interest benefit or that. So these type of products selling by the bank staffers, and for that they are getting the incentives, and RBI is now looking to ban such type of incentives. All right. And one term appeared in this article only, proposes refund and compensation for mis-selling. So RBI has also proposed in its draft amendment bill about the refund and compensation to the customers for mis-selling, curtailing of dark patterns. Dark patterns क्या है भाई? Dark patterns ये एक पैटर्न है in which there is a like रश सेल जैसा होता है ना, रश सेल और लाइक फ्लैश सेल यू कैन से, है ना? तो उस तरह का ये पैटर्न है कि आपका नीड को क्रिएट किया जाता है, योर रिक्वायरमेंट इज बीइंग क्रिएटेड इन दिस डार्क पैटर्न। ओके, रिक्वायरमेंट को क्रिएट किया गया कि हाँ, इफ यू विल बाय दिस पर्टिकुलर प्रोडक्ट इन द नेक्स्ट 20 minutes you will get an additional discount of 20%. Okay, or if you will buy this product in 2 days, in the upcoming 2 days, in this republic sale like product, right, then you will get a discount of 10% or 20% in premium amount. तो इस तरह का जो प्रोडक्ट आपको सेल कर रहा है, otherwise you are not going to buy it. See here, dark pattern, a design practically used in digital interface like apps, website to manipulate or mislead the customers to make their financial decisions. Otherwise, they will not take it, right? तो डार्क पैटर्न के बारे में भी आप लोगों को जानना है कि क्या है एग्जैक्टली ये किस तरह का पैटर्न को डार्क पैटर्न कहते हैं. Now, coming to the the first question of today's series. Under the RBI's draft amendment bill, amendment direction on advertising, marketing, and sales of financial product, which of the following is or are correct? First statement, bank employees may receive indirect incentives. Not at all. Bank cannot bundle third party products with their own product. This is correct. Bank must be allowed to purchase contingent third party product from any provider. Correct. Incentive based internal competitions are completely prohibited. No. So the correct option here it is option B, that is 2 and 3. Next option. Next statement. Question. Under the draft norms, complaints of mis-selling of that particular product. If a customer would have got that particular product because of mis-selling, because of incomplete information regarding that particular product, then by after how many days he or she can complain? Within 15 days? No. 30 days of sale? No. 30 days of receiving the signed terms and condition, because after going through the terms and condition of that particular product, okay, product or insurance plan, he or she can understand what are the pros and cons. So after receiving the terms and condition copy, after within 30 days, he or she can complain regarding the mis-selling of that product, that I have not given complete information, some information were concealed, and I have been kept in dark. Okay. Third question. Sustainability assessment must consider which factors? Sustainability assessment जो होता है वो क्या क्या factors consider करता है? Risk return attributes, yes, it considers. Time horizon, obviously. Customer interest, no, it is not going to consider. Financial literacy of the customer, yes, and fee structure. So option B is correct. All right. These terms were actually picked up from the newspaper article that I was showing you. Mis-selling primarily refers to what? क्या होता है mis-selling? Selling unsuitable products without proper disclosure of the regarding that particular product. That is called mis-selling. Next article. Next important article in the newspaper. First cross-sector investments. The cross-sector means multi-sector infrastructure investment trust. Infrastructure investment trust. ये एक तरह का म्यूचुअल फंड कह लीजिए जहां पे छोटे छोटे रिटेलर्स से रिटेलर 1 2 से कुछ अमाउंट पूल करके एक बिग प्रोजेक्ट में ये ट्रस्ट जो है वो एक बिग प्रोजेक्ट में फाइनेंस की, बिकॉज इट इज वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू to invest in big projects, big infrastructure. It requires a huge amount of capital. तो रिटेल इन्वेस्टर्स कैसे आ सकते हैं यहाँ पे? थ्रू दिस इनविट्स, थ्रू इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर इन्वेस्टमेंट ट्रस्ट. ये ट्रस्ट के थ्रू रिटेल इन्वेस्टर्स, और जो भी प्रॉफिट्स होगा अकॉर्डिंगली इन प्रपोर्शन दे इट विल बी ट्रांसफर टू द वेरियस रिटेल इन्वेस्टर्स. ऑलराइट. तो इस तरह का ये होता है इनविट्स. तो फर्स्ट टाइम क्रॉस सेक्टर मल्टी सेक्टर इनविट्स is going to work to monetize more assets. ये एक आर्टिकल था. एंड इनविट्स इसी तरह से रियल एस्टेट इन्वेस्टमेंट ट्रस्ट भी चलता है, रीट्स इसको कहते हैं. ऑलराइट. तो you should have a clear cut understanding that what is the difference between InvITs, real estate investment trust, public private partnership, and I have also given one descriptive question with respect to that. All right. In order to develop some idea. Now, question number 5. The proposed multi-sector InvIT under NMP 2.0 primarily aims to what? In order to replace the public sector undertakings? No. Reduce fiscal deficit immediately? Is it going to reduce the deficit immediately? No. Plug back capital into new infrastructure project? Yes. It is actually a multi-sector InvIT is actually designed for asset monetization, to monetize asset monetization. Okay. And through this asset monetization you can recycle the capital that will help to reinvest in large infra projects. All right. So plug back the capital into large new infrastructure projects. Coming to the next MCQ, which of the following best describes why a multi-sector InvITs may have a lower cost of funds? Why? Q multi-sector InvITs they have a lower cost of fund. Is it government guarantee? No. RBI finance support? No. Risk diversification across the sectors? Yes. Multi-sector InvITs में वही हो रहा है. Actually, you are diversifying the portfolio. Diversifying the portfolio. Multi-sector में invest हो रहा है, multi-sectors. It means what? That lowering the risk weights associated with your investment. Obviously, it is going to boost the investor confidence. If the risk associated with their capital is being lowered, then it is going to boost the investor's confidence, and thus it actually lower the cost of, you can say, capital. towards the cost of the whole capital. इसीलिए the lower cost of fund जो है मल्टी सेक्टर इन्वेट्स में होता है because there is risk diversification. तो फंड का जो कॉस्ट होता है, जो कैपिटल कॉस्ट होता है, वो कम होता है इन मल्टी सेक्टर इन्वेट्स. So obviously, if it will be less, then more and more consumers would get attracted to, or more and more investors, small investors would get attracted towards this multi-sector InvITs, जो कि first time आ रहा है in infrastructure projects. Next MCQ, the shift from sector-specific InvITs to multi-sector InvITs reflects what? Fully privatization model? No. Fiscal federalism approach? Yes. So it reflects a fiscal federalism. मल्टी सेक्टर इन्वेट्स है तो यहाँ पे दोनों सेंटर है, स्टेट, ऑल द स्टेक होल्डर्स आर इन्वॉल्व. तो यहाँ पे यू कैन सी द फाइनेंशियल फेडरलिज्म, फिस्कल फेडरलिज्म अप्रोच towards that, like shifting from sector specific to that multi sector InvITs. Next question, which of the following statement is correct? More than 25 InvITs are registered in India. Yes, this is correct. None currently operate across the multi-sector. No, as of now, none of the InvITs are actually operating in multi-sector. So it is also true because it is the first time actually multi-sector InvITs का concept आया है. InvITs are regulated by RBI. Is it correct statement? No, they are regulated by SEBI, not RBI. All right. So the correct option here it is 1 and 2. Next article is with respect to retail inflation. Retail inflation, a brief history, everything regarding, and this is a very beautiful article. I would suggest you to go through this article. All right, and you can find that article in the Telegram group that I was that is mentioned in the descriptive section of this video. Question number 9. The C. Rangarajan Commission, National Statistical Commission, primarily recommended moving from segment-specific indices to population-wide indices. Is it recommended by C. Rangarajan? No. Is segment-specific indices to population-wide? No, it is recommended. Actually, it is recommended by C. Rangarajan Commission. Okay. Population-wide indices. Compiling segment, rural and urban CPIs, consumer price index, yes. Separately, rural and urban CPI should be compiled using consumer expenditure survey data. Yes, it actually used the expenditure survey data of consumers. Okay. Discounting all labor-based CPIs. No, it is not recommending for to discontinue all the labor-based CPI. No. So statement 1, 2, and 3 is correct. Accordingly, option B is correct. Next, the current consumer price index, that is combined for both rural and urban, used for monetary policy, is primarily based on what? Is primarily based on the current CPI is primarily based on wholesale market price? No. Corporate pricing surveys? Not at all. Consumer expenditure surveys? CES. Yes, it is consumer expenditure surveys. The CPI combined replaced the WPI as the anchor for monetary policy in which particular year? CPI combined replaced the WPI in which year? After inflation targeting framework. MPC का जो फ्रेमवर्क आया था मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी का, जिसमें इन्फ्लेशन टारगेटिंग फ्रेमवर्क था, in which the inflation need to be kept in the band of 4% plus minus 4% plus minus 2%. Okay, उसके बाद जो है CPI combined actually replaced the wholesale price index. Okay, as the anchor of monetary policy. Means monetary policy will be किस पे डिपेंड करेगा? CPI पे. मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी का डिसीजन CPI पे एक्चुअली डिपेंड करेगा. ओके. Which institution compiles CPI combined? Which institution is compiling this CPI Consumer Price Index combined? RBI no, Labor Bureau no, Ministry of Finance no, Ministry of Statistical and Program Implementation yes. Option D is correct here. MOSPI. Okay. CPI industrial workers, CPI agricultural laborer, rural laborer are currently compiled by which body? देखिए यहाँ पे workers है, laborers हैं. Okay, it will be compiled by Labor Bureau. Okay, you can also mark such type of options through this. And these type of conceptual questions used to be asked. See, I have framed this MCQ series picking some relevant questions from that article and picking the concepts from that article. If there is any keyword like CPI, WPI, and if it is there in the syllabus, then I'm trying to collect the questions which is relevant for your static part of your syllabus. All right, means macroeconomic concepts. Dearness allowance is primarily indexed to what? Dearness जो DA मिलता है एक worker को, it is primarily indexed to CPI combined? No. CPI industrial worker? Yes. It is primarily indexed to CPI industrial worker. Okay. Which is the next article? See here. All about the present consumer price index. Very beautiful article. All about the CPI index. यहाँ पे आप इस आर्टिकल को पढ़ सकते हो. Okay. This article appeared in Business Standard. Which of the following would necessarily indicate deflation? क्या इंडिकेट करता है? नेसेसरली इंडिकेटिंग डिफ्लेशन. पता है आपको इन्फ्लेशन उसी का अपोजिट होता है डिफ्लेशन. इन्फ्लेशन में क्या होता है? प्राइस राइज होता है. क्यों प्राइस राइज? क्यों? बिकॉज वैल्यू ऑफ करेंसी एक्चुअली डेटोरिएट्स. ओके, वैल्यू ऑफ करेंसी, तो उसके अपोजिट ही होता है डिफ्लेशन. तो सीपीआई राइजेस एट 2%. नो. सीपीआई राइजिंग स्लोअर देन लास्ट मंथ. नो. सीपीआई लोअर देन इट्स वैल्यू 1 year ago. इफ दिस इज ए सिचुएशन कि सीपीआई का वैल्यू जो है वो कम हो जाएगा 1 year ago से भी, वैल्यू 1 year ago जो था उससे कम, तो यू कैन से दैट डिफ्लेशन है मार्केट में. सीपीआई लोअर द वैल्यू, लोअर देन इट्स वैल्यू 1 year ago, it shows deflation. All right. Next, which statement is correct regarding CPI computation? Which statement is correct regarding CPI computation? Statement 1, each item is assigned weight based on consumption surveys. Is it correct? Each item is assigned weight based on consumption survey. Consumption survey taken by consumers, right? It is correct statement. Base year index is fixed at 100. This is also a correct statement. All items carry equal weight. No, it contradicts statement 1. You can see here. It should be based on consumption surveys. So how can we assign equal weight to all the items? So statement 3 is incorrect. By this, option B would be correct. 1 and 2 only. Which of the following best distinguishes between CPI and WPI? A question in UPSC also, multiple statement question asked through this concept only. The difference between CPI and UPI. CPI includes services. WPI largely excludes services. WPI measures retail prices. No, it is wholesale prices. CPI producer prices. Consumer price index है ये. It includes the housing rents. No, CPI excludes fuel. No. So the correct option here it is CPI includes services. WPI largely excludes. So WPI में wholesale price index में services नहीं है. Okay. So option A is correct here. See, this was the question actually asked in UPSC that I was telling about. Consider the following statement regarding CPI and WPI. WPI tracks inflation at a producer level. Wholesale price index producer level पे ये ट्रैक करता है. However, CPI captures changes in price level at consumer level. Okay, so this statement is correct. CPI does not capture changes in price of services while WPI does. The statement is reversed actually. WPI does not capture changes in price of services. Okay, and CPI do capture the CPI में services is there. Services is there. Okay, so by this option A only would be correct. That is one statement. Now, coming to the next question, next article as well. Bank issue over 1 trillion in CDs क्या होता है भाई? Certificate of deposits. Certificate of deposits. तो बैंक्स ने इशू किया ओवर 1 trillion सर्टिफिकेट ऑफ डिपॉजिट्स इन द मंथ ऑफ फेब ओनली. सो फार मींस 11 फेब तक बैंक ने 1 trillion सीडीज इशू किया. ऑलराइट, तो व्हाई, व्हाट इज द प्राइमरीली, क्यों किया? बैंक इंक्रीज द सीडी इशुएंस इन फेब primarily because repo rate was increased? No. Deposit growth exceeded the credit growth? No. Deposit growth lagged behind the credit growth. This is the correct statement. Deposit growth जो है वो कम हो गया था credit growth से. See, credit growth ये ज्यादा हो गया deposit growth से, तो इसकी वजह से क्या होगा? Funding gap will be there. Funding gap हो जाएगा. और फंडिंग गैप जब होता है, बैंक के पास फंडिंग गैप मतलब कम पैसे हैं, तभी तो फंडिंग गैप हो रहा है. तो बैंक्स यूज टू इशू इन ऑर्डर टू शॉर्ट टर्म कैपिटल रेज करने के लिए इश्यूज सर्टिफिकेट ऑफ डिपॉजिट सीडीज, राइट. सॉफ्टनिंग ऑफ सीडी रेट इंडिकेट्स व्हाट? सॉफ्टनिंग ऑफ सीडी रेट्स मतलब कि उसका रेट को कम कर रहा है. सॉफ्टनिंग ऑफ सीडीज रेट इंडिकेट व्हाट? टाइट लिक्विडिटी? No. Higher inflation expectations? No. Ample liquidity into the banking system? Yes. ताकि CDs की तरफ more and more investors would get attracted to buy those certificate of deposits, right? तो to ample liquidity in banking system, ताकि banking system में liquidity ज्यादा से ज्यादा आ सके. Next, which RBI operation contributed to durable liquidity infusion? ड्यूरेबल लिक्विडिटी इन्फ्यूजन. कौन सा आरबीआई ऑपरेशन से लिक्विडिटी इन्फ्यूज होता है मार्केट में? इन्फ्यूज ओपन मार्केट ऑपरेशन से हो सकता है, जहां पे बाइंग एंड सेलिंग ऑफ गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटी एक्चुअली टुक प्लेस. ऑलराइट, यहां से लिक्विडिटी इन्फ्यूजन होता है. फॉरेक्स स्वैप ऑपरेशंस, यहां से भी लिक्विडिटी इन्फ्यूजन होता है. ओके, वेरिएबल रेट रिवर्स रेपो, यहां से इंफ्यूजन नहीं होता है एक्चुअली, ये लिक्विडिटी खींचने का तरीका है. लिक्विडिटी मार्केट में ज्यादा है, बैंक्स में ज्यादा है, तो इन ऑर्डर टू पुल लिक्विडिटी फ्रॉम द मार्केट थ्रू वी ट्रिपल आर. CRR इंक्रीज जब होता है मींस बैंक हैज टू कीप मोर मनी विथ RBI, तो ऑब्वियसली इट विल reduce the liquidity from the market. Okay, so statement 1 and 2 is correct only. That is option A. Coming to the next question, if RBI refrains from conducting VRR auction, refrains from conducting VRR auction during surplus liquidity, it implies what? RBI बच रहा है to conduct surplus liquidity है मार्केट में, फिर भी RBI is refraining from VRR auctions. It represents what? RBI wants to absorb more liquidity? No. RBI wants to maintain liquidity surplus? Yes. RBI actually wants to maintain liquidity surplus, इसीलिए RBI VRR auction नहीं कर रहा है, because RBI wants to maintain the liquidity surplus. लोगों के पास पैसा रहे. Why such type of situations? ताकि if RBI wants to create investment in the market, वो चाह रहा है कि investment हो, okay, growth हो, development हो, तो liquidity surplus को maintain करता है. सर्टिफिकेट ऑफ डिपॉजिट क्या है भाई? सीडीज पे ये आर्टिकल है, तो ये सर्टिफिकेट ऑफ डिपॉजिट क्या है? इज इट ए लॉन्ग टर्म गवर्नमेंट बॉन्ड्स? इज इट ए लॉन्ग टर्म इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स? सर्टिफिकेट ऑफ डिपॉजिट? नो. Equity instruments? Not at all. Short-term negotiable money market instrument? Yes. These are short-term money market instruments. Certificate of deposits. Short-term money market instruments. If credit growth, see next question. If credit growth slows to 13.1% year on year, क्या चीज ग्रोथ स्लो डाउन हो रहा है? क्रेडिट ग्रोथ. ओके, मनी फ्लो जो मनी ग्रोथ जो होता है वो स्लो डाउन हो रहा है 13.1% ईयर ऑन ईयर, while deposit growth slows further to 10.6%. the likely implication would be what? ये भी क्रेडिट ग्रोथ भी स्लो डाउन हो रहा है 13.1% से, and deposit growth slows down further to 10.6%. it likely implicates what? ऐसा सिचुएशन क्या इम्प्लीकेट करता है? एक्सेस डिपॉजिट बेस? नो. इम्प्रूव्ड CASA ratio, capital account, saving account ratio? No. Pressure on banks funding profile? Yes. Credit growth भी slows down हो रहा है, deposit growth भी. It is certainly creating pressure on banks का funding pattern, funding profile. Liquidity crunch हो सकता है बैंक में. Which the following is not a durable liquidity tool? Not a durable liquidity tool. Durable liquidity tool. ओपन मार्केट ऑपरेशन परचेज, ये तो है भाई एक लिक्विडिटी टूल दैट आरबीआई यूज्ड टू एक्सेस इट, राइट. फॉरेक्स स्वैप, ये भी एक ड्यूरेबल लिक्विडिटी टूल है ऑफ विद आरबीआई. वी ट्रिपल आर ऑप्शन ऑक्शन, ये लिक्विडिटी टूल नहीं है एक्चुअली ना, दिस इज द टूल टू पुल एक्सेस मनी फ्रॉम द मार्केट, राइट. लॉन्ग टर्म रेपो तो है, एंड गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटी परचेज ऑब्वियसली अंडर दिस ओएमओ purchase होता है, that is called government security purchase, in order to infuse more liquidity into the market. Okay, so these are liquidity tools, but V triple R auction is not. अगर ये auctioning RBI कर रहा है तो it is actually pulling out money from the market. Okay, RBI pull कर रहा है. Next, bank parking funds in liquidity adjustment facilities. Banks are actually parking funds in LAF. Window indicates what? बैंक जब liquidity adjustment funds में पार्क कर रहा है अपना पैसे, तो it indicates what? Liquidity deficit है मार्केट में बैंक के साथ? No, liquidity surplus है actually बैंक. That's why it is parking to liquidity adjustment facilities. Alright. Next, certificate of deposits are issued by RBI only. Is it correct statement? Certificate of deposit issued by RBI only? No. Government only? No. Commercial banks and financial institutions? Yes. They are issued by commercial banks and financial institutions. Certificate of deposits are primarily used to, see some conceptual question on CDs. They are primarily used to long-term capital investments. CDs? No. Funding short-term liquidity mismatch. Okay. So CDs are primarily used by the commercial banks and financial institutions in order to avail the short-term liquidity mismatch. Okay. वहां पे CDs are actually used. Open market operation purchased by RBI, it drains liquidity. No, it actually injects liquidity into the market. क्योंकि अगर RBI ने ओएमओ के थ्रू परचेज किया गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटी परचेज किया, तो इन रिटर्न इट हैज टू गिव द मनी, दैट इज एक्चुअली इंक्रीजिंग लिक्विडिटी इनटू द मार्केट. ओके, तो ओपन मार्केट ऑपरेशन से लिक्विडिटी इंक्रीज होता है. वी ट्रिपल आर इज प्राइमरली यूज्ड टू, अब सबको पता हो गया, इतना बार हमने डिस्कस कर लिया है. इंजेक्ट्स लिक्विडिटी? नो. एब्सॉर्ब सरप्लस लिक्विडिटी. वी ट्रिपल आर is to absorb surplus liquidity from the market. Next article was there with respect to green transition. India needs better long-term planning with respect to ग्रीन ट्रांजिशन, वी आर माइग्रेटिंग टुवर्ड्स अ ग्रीनर इकोनॉमी, वी आर ट्राइंग टू माइग्रेट। तो इसके लिए इंडिया को लॉन्ग रन में ज्यादा प्लानिंग करना है, इसके रिलेटेड एक फीचर्ड आर्टिकल था इन द एडिटोरियल पेज। ऑलराइट, कुछ क्वेश्चंस यहां से फ्रेम किए गए हैं। फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन, मिटिगेशन फाइनेंस क्या होता है? रेफर्स टू फंडिंग ऑफ व्हाट? मिटिगेशन, एज द नेम डिनोट्स, मिटिगेशन कम करना है डिजास्टर रिलीफ के लिए। मिटिगेशन फाइनेंस, नो। एमिशन रिडक्शन एक्टिविटीज, यस। एमिशन जो एमिट हो रहा है, एमिशन मींस हार्मफुल गैसेस जो एमिट हो रहे हैं उसको रिड्यूस करने का एक्टिविटीज को मिटिगेशन फाइनेंसिंग कहते हैं। These are actually terms discussed in this article itself. Mitigation financing, adaptation financing. So it is used for what? Adaptation financing. Next question. It is used for renewable power plants only? No. Climate resilience and infrastructure? Yes. Adaptation financing is used for climate resilience and infrastructure projects, you can say. Okay. Green bonds are primarily issued to green bonds issue होता है, it is primarily issued to what? And these are tradable in market as well. Finance the fossil fuel projects, green bonds? No. Finance environmentally sustainable projects? Yes. Green bonds के जरिए फंड रेज किया जा रहा है in order to finance the environmentally sustainable projects. Okay. और वहां पे लोगों का स्टेक लगा हुआ है एंड दे विल गेट द, ऑब्वियसली दे विल गेट द रिटर्न्स। ए यूनिफाइड क्लाइमेट फाइनेंस टेक्सोनोमी, a unified climate finance taxonomy helps by increasing inflation? No. Standardizing what qualifies as green? It standardizes what qualifies as green. Okay. Unified climate finance taxonomy. So option B is correct over here. Concessionary finance generally implies to what? Concessionary finance, it implies to market rate borrowing. Is it market rate borrowing? No. High interest loans? No. Loans at at below market rates? Yes. Concessionary finance. Loans at below the market rate. That is called concessionary finance. Demand side measures like mission life primarily focusing on what? Demand side measures like mission life, it primarily focus on supply expansion. Demand side measure है ये, mission life. Supply expansion? No. Behavioral change and energy efficiency? Yes. Demand side measures like mission life primarily focus on behavioral change and energy efficiency. Which of the following would reduce the cost of capital for green projects? See, following statements say which of the following is actually going to reduce the cost of capital for green projects? Concessionary finance? Is it? Yes. Credit guarantees? Yes. Unified taxonomy? Yes, we have already discussed. High repo rate? No. So option B here it is correct. Next, blended finance primarily refers to what? It aims to combine the public and private capital to de-risk the projects. इसी को कहते हैं blended finance. Under the net zero scenario, India cumulative investment requires by 2070 with respect to green financing is around $22.7 trillion US dollar. Okay, for this is the cumulative investment required by 2070 with respect to green transmission. Okay. Now, coming to some descriptive questions that you can practice, all right, after going through those particular articles. The first question, 16th Finance Commission retained 41% tax devolution but altered the horizontal distribution formula by introducing states' contribution to GDP and discontinued the revenue deficit grants. This is a statement. Now the question starts from here. You need to critically examine whether these changes is going to promote the efficiency at the cost of equity in India's fiscal federal framework. दिस इज द एग्जैक्ट क्वेश्चन. तो यहाँ पे आपको क्रिटिकली एग्जामिन करना है, दोनों एंगल लिखना है, वेदर इट इज गोइंग टू प्रमोट और वेदर इट इज गोइंग टू सपोर्ट, और उसके बाद लास्ट में एक पॉजिटिव कंक्लूजन लिखना है. ऑलराइट, यू कैन आल्सो राइट दिस क्वेश्चन एंड सेंड in the telegram group that I was talking about and whose link is there in the descriptive section. Next question. Mis-selling of financial products reflects deeper issue of conflict of interest, obviously, and conduct risk in banking. Discuss how RBI proposed ban on third-party sale incentives and restriction on dark patterns strengthen the consumer protection and financial stability. You need to discuss. We have already discussed lots of MCQs with respect to this article. So, यहाँ एक descriptive question है. Just go through that particular article and you will comfortably write this question. At least 100 words, 200 words. You need to initiate writing. Okay. It is not like एक दिन में हो जाएगा आपका कंप्लीट, कैसे आंसर लिखना है आपको समझ में आ जाएगा. नो, आपको 100 वर्ड्स 50 वर्ड्स लिखिए अभी, अगर नहीं हो पा रहा तो 100 वर्ड्स फिर होगा 200, देन 250, देन 300, धीरे धीरे प्रोग्रेस करेगा. ऑलराइट, बट एटलीस्ट ओपन योर लैपटॉप एंड स्टार्ट टाइपिंग, मतलब स्टार्ट कीजिए, जस्ट ट्राई टू मूव योर फिंगर्स. ओके. क्वेश्चन नंबर 3. India net zero target by 2070 requires an estimated investment of over $20.7 trillion, leaving a substantial financing gap as of now. Okay, discuss the structural constraints in India's climate financing architecture. You need to discuss क्या क्या problem है भाई climate financing में, क्या क्या problem है, and evaluate the need for institutional reforms such as national green finance institutions that also need to be evaluated. Discuss the role of certificate of deposit in banks liquidity management and how do surplus liquidity conditions and RBI liquidity operations influence short-term funding markets. Next question, बहुत अच्छा question है, that can be asked as a static question in your examination with respect to certificate. अब बहुत अच्छा topic है ये actually to be asked in your examinations. Next, infrastructure investment trust, real estate investment trust and public-private partnerships are important mechanisms for infrastructure financing in our country. Compare these three in respect of term of structure, risk allocation, fund mechanism and their role in asset monetization and infrastructure. तो आपको अलग अलग हेडिंग्स में इनको कंपेयर करना है, टर्म ऑफ स्ट्रक्चर के रूप में, रिस्क एलोकेशन के रूप में, फंडिंग मैकेनिज्म के रूप में, और इनका रोल जो है इन एसेट मोनेटाइजेशन में क्या रोल है, वो आपको अलग अलग 4 हेडिंग्स में यूनिट टू डिस्कस. एंड सच क्वेश्चंस कैन बी आस्क्ड एज 10 to 15 मार्कर. 10 मार्कर में ही पूछा जा सकता है, 15 मार्कर. ऑलराइट, so that's all for today dear students. If you like this series then just like this video and subscribe our channel. We will continuously bring such type of series on daily basis.